Hi, Stan here, taking a closer look at the Sussex coast. This takes us through some of the most fascinating towns and beautiful countryside in England. This is more than just a tourist guide. It contains anecdotes, pictures, strange facts, and oddities known to the locals. From Rye to Chichester, we find bustling modern cities, historic tourist towns, and ancient villages. Cliffs with sweeping views of the channel, sand dune-lined beaches, rolling hills, great houses, and we experience exciting nightlife, great food, exotic hotels, quiet country lanes, historic pubs, modern shopping centers, and unique stores. Come enjoy the sights, people, and places in the south coast of England. The A259 follows the coast from Folkestone in Kent to just short of Portsmouth in Hampshire. The part we are concerned about is from Rye to Chichester Harbour in Sussex. The 90 miles we are covering is mostly single-lane carriageway that generally follows the coast with a few twists and turns inland. If you are driving, please be careful, as it is considered one of the more dangerous roads in England because it is busy and often narrow. Most of these places are between 1 and 2 hours away by train from London. Driving usually takes about the same time, but we were sometimes caught in heavy traffic. Starting from the east, the first of these English Channel coastal stops is the town of Rye. Before we take a look at Rye, let's go down to the beach at Camber Sand. Behind these dunes is the village of Camber, our first stop. Camber is a small village behind the dunes of the River Rother, 2 kilometers from Rye. Until the 19th century, it consisted of a few fishermen shacks. Now, it is a very popular vacation spot with several large holiday parks and restaurants and shops that cater to the visitors. Its popularity grew in the 1890s when tourists started to visit Rye, and some residents decided that they needed a golf course. This was built on the dunes between the village and the river. By 1905, it had over 430 members, including 60 ladies, mostly from London. Before the age of the motor car, getting down to the beach and to the links with your equipment was a bit of a chore. So in 1895, the 1 3/4 mile Rye and Camber tramway was opened with a steam engine. It eventually lost the battle against the automobile and was closed after the Admiralty used it in World War II. Camber Sand is the only significant sandy beach in Sussex and the only major sand dune system. The beach, on the east side of the River Rother, stretches nearly 3 kilometers to Kent. It can be very busy in the summer, but other times of the year we can have long, lonely walks and find only the occasional dog walker. The sand dunes behind the beach are so extensive that they have been used in movies, including one where it was represented as the Sahara Desert. At one point, filming was delayed due to snow. The area looks so much like the Normandy beaches the military practiced landing here for D-Day. Parts of the movie The Longest Day were filmed here too. The whole area was heavily fortified during World War II. Because of the shifting sands, the beach and dunes are still growing. The dunes have been designated a site of special scientific interest. The beach is worth a visit, especially in the summer, and is unique to it. Rye is one of those places that just drips with history and sights to see. Here we find tales of smugglers and shipwrecks, riders and wars. In the center of the old village, narrow Mermaid Street is one of the most photographed views in Sussex. We are enthralled by the quaintness of the scene, which really looks like old England. From here we can see timbered buildings housing pubs, stores, and homes. One of the most famous inns in the UK is on Mermaid Street, and of course it is called the Mermaid Inn. Said to have been built in the 12th century, the cellars are the only part left that is that old. What we see now was mostly built in the 15th and 16th centuries. Smuggling was big business in the 18th century, and the notorious Hawkhurst gang hung out at the Mermaid Inn. This infamous gang operated all along the Channel coast for over 10 years with almost complete immunity. Supposedly, tunnels in the cellars of the Mermaid led to other nearby inns and were used for quick escapes and hiding their booty. It finally took the militia to beat this cruel, bloodthirsty gang in a battle in 1747. In its current manifestation, the inn offers an excellently decorated bar and restaurant, and an absolutely unique hotel. Reported to be one of the most haunted places in Britain, each of the 31 rooms has a different theme. On offer are rooms with 4-poster beds and low-ceiling rafters, hidden passageways, a sliding bookcase, and priest bolt holes. One can enjoy a night, and maybe some sleep, in a piece of English history. For the energetic, climbing to the top of the tower of the 800-year-old St. Mary's Church provides great views over the roofs and streets. On a clear day, we can see the harbour and miles down the Channel coast. We can also see Gibbert Windmill down by the river. There has been a mill here for 500 years. It was also a bakery in the last century until it burned down. Rebuilt in the 1930s, it's now a B&B. We had to stop and see historic Lamb House, owned by the National Trust since 1950. The house was built by local wine merchant James Lamb in 1722. Legend has it that 4 years later, King George I took shelter here one night when his ship was stuck on the nearby sands. He was lucky to be here as his wife had a baby that night. The house has attracted great writers including Henry James, E.F. Benson, and most recently Joan Akins. Both James and Benson complained about the house's poltergeist. The building, with its walled garden, is a lovely spot to enjoy a sunny day. Benson's novels about the town and the house, Map and Lucia, were filmed here in 2014 by the BBC. Some of Henry James's personal possessions are on display. A stop at the Rye Museum and the 600-year-old Eaps Tower gave us an insight into the history of the town. The tower itself has been a fort, a private home, a prison, and a mortuary. The basement offers the kids a chance to see the old cells and try on some armor. On our way through the old town, we found antiques and curio shops, including a kitchen shop where my grandmother would recognize most of the wares on sale. On Wednesday mornings, the farmers' market attracts crowds outside the St. Port's pub. Keep your eye open, and you might find the former Beatle, Paul McCartney. He's called Rye home for many years. A look at Rye Harbour is worth a short detour. We exit Rye heading west by the A259 and cross the bridge over the River Bede. About a half a mile long, we turn left, crossing the river again at Harbour Road. The right turn heads us towards Camber Castle. When built in 1512 by Henry VII, the castle was close to the sea and protected the Rye anchorage from French attack. It quickly became useless as the harbour silted up, and France and England were at peace at the time. Currently owned by Heritage England, this Grade 1 listed building is fun to explore. One advantage of having the harbour sealed up was it created a wonderful place for wildlife. For a little piece, we wandered around the Rye Harbour Conservation Area. Path takes us through the marshes, which is home to hundreds of rare and endangered species of birds, animals, and plants. Tragedy struck here in 1928 when the 17-man crew of the NLI lifeboat Mary Stafford drowned while trying to reach a boat in distress. The abandoned lifeboat station has been left here on the beach as a memorial to the men who died. There's a lot more to see in Rye, but now we're continuing on. Heading back the way we came, we reach the A259 again and turn left, west, towards our next stop. That's it for Chapter 1. I sure hope you enjoyed it. Chapter 2 will be out soon. If you liked it, please press the like button and share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. If you're interested in the book, it is published by UP Publishing. The link is in the description below. And we'll see you soon. Bye now.